you asked organizations whether they are learning organizations.
Yes.
And they said yes. You knew what the definition of learning organization was. You had a concept of learning organization.
Yes.
And you asked me, I have a concept, different concept of learning organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I said yes, which means there lacked clarity in the question in the first place.
Okay.
You assume that I know.
Okay. How should I have done it instead?
Which means we go back to the first, where we have to clarify, but there has to be greater clarity on what learning organization is.
Okay. Let's then say that the definition is that there is a positive climate towards learning at the workplace, and people are allowed to reflect and experiment while working. That's the definition. How would you, should I then ask those who I interview, is it like this at your bank or airline? Or what would I do? Please help me. Sorry? Well, I am very sure that they claim to be learning organizations. I can prove it. I am absolutely sure. They claimed that they were learning organizations.
But do you agree with what they claim?
Do I have to agree?
Do you agree?
Do I have
Because
to?
if you make this sentence, sounds like you agree.
Do I have to agree? I didn't study it, I just asked them.
I thought maybe you can put, I wonder, those organizations claim to be learning organizations are effective. Just put wonder.
Okay. But how would I do it instead? You said before that I need definition. Let's say I have a definition. What should I do with the definition? What can I do with the definition? Should I ask, or you, you are now the bank manager here for Malaysian Bank. Do you have a positive learning climate at your bank? Yeah, she said yes. Is it better now? Is the study better now? You have to help me.
Can I help?
Yes, you can help.
I think a lot depends on the kind of organization. It depends on the goals of the organization. You mentioned MAS and banks. Very clearly, they are quite different from universities mentioned earlier. For MAS, for banks, their goal clearly is profit. So, how can they improve and expand, increase profit? So the next thing is, they must learn how to do so. Consequently, they have programs, they have all kinds of methodology to aim at increasing profits from managing director level down into the engineering, mechanics, and so on. So for them, that's the learning process. For the banks, it's the same thing. So therefore, if you ask them, are you learning? They will say, yes, I'm learning in my field, and particularly how I can transform MAS or bank to become an effective organization. Effective meaning, in the end result is profit. That's how I see it.
Agree.
So that's why they can say that, yes, I'm learning.
Yes.
I can understand that.
I definitely agree with you. What I could add though is also that, and what I have been after all the time, is that you have to have a convincing way to investigate, and you have been into this. But perhaps the best way to find out whether an organization is a learning organization or not is not to ask. Perhaps you could measure it some way. perhaps you could observe it, and to get a paper to be a convincing paper, you would have to have a very convincing method. You would have to convince the editor, reviewer, the reader, that you have actually studied and can argue that yes, these are learning organizations, as you explained that very well. And that they have some kind of effectiveness or efficiency measured in a specific way, as you also have told. So this might be novel. It might be novel. We don't know because it depends. Well, it would perhaps be novel if pending that it is banks who that not only claim to be learning organizations, but if I could prove that banks were learning organizations, I would perhaps not even have to include effectiveness, because that would be some kind of interesting idea in itself. But of course, if I could also, on top of it, prove that it's an effective organization, then it would be perhaps even more convincing. So I would have to prove, and why I took this example, made up, of course, by me, deliberately vague, to invite you to consider and think in the way that I suggest that you would have to think and deal with what you write in order to get it published. Every detail has to be very clear. I think you did this good. I think you had lots of comments and directly saw that this is not enough and you can't do like this and you have to define it. Good. And please, because very much research is about asking people and noting what they claim. Are you a good leader? Yes, I am a good leader. Most people would say, perhaps. Is this interesting? Yes, they are very good leaders here. They claim so. Is this interesting? There is a study of Scandinavian management. What is typical for Scandinavian management? And the study is based on interviews with managers in which they talk about what is typical with Scandinavian management. So it's very much on a cognitive level. And it's so easily that people claim things that, yes, they claim the same myths as anyone else does. I could also say something about Scandinavian leadership. It's very democratic and so on. But is it really democratic? To investigate that, we have to use other methods. I would now like you to listen shortly to another presentation, and then there will be some time for questions and discussion. Okay? So this is the review, International Journal of Management Reviews, and I am shortly going to present it and say some things about what you need to do to write a good literature review, which is a little bit different from an empirical paper article. I should make it. And actually some copies of an issue of the journal, if you want to have. And I also put here a pamphlet with advertisement for a special issue of International Journal of Learning and Change, which I guest edited, which is about the learning